Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir Sponsor Luinishma Asai Yakashom Navas Yitzchok. We're holding in Basra Daf Tzadik Tes. We're starting the Tzadik Chesamud base in the bottom. The Gemara says like this. We're starting 4 lines at the bottom of the page. Rav Chanino Nofak Lekrioso. Chanino went out to the villages. Romule Kraya Dati. They asked him a question, and they asked him a contradiction in Sukkim. It says that the house that Shlomo built was 60. 60 means including the Heichol. And the Kodesh Kodashim, the Heichol was 40. Kodesh Kodashim was 20. So you have 60 in length. 20 is the width. That we saw before. And it says, in the front of the Dvir, meaning in Kodesh Kodashim, is 20 by 20 by 20. You just said it's 30. You said that the entire house is 60, which is 40 plus 20, by 20, in the height of 30. And then it says that the inside the Kodesh Kodashim is 20 by 20, that's fine. The height of 20 is the height of 20, the height of 30. Now, it says the Kruvim of Moshe Rabbeinu, as Rashbam explains, they were standing on the floor. The Kruvim of Shlomo HaMelech. Kruvim of Shlomo HaMelech were not standing on the Aron, they were standing on the floor. And their height was 10 amo. So if the whole height is 30 amo, from the head of the Kruvim, how much space do you have? 20. So it means it's 20 by 20 by 20 above the Kruvim. Below the Kruvim, you have Kruvim in the My Kamashon. Why the Novi is telling us this way? Second one that's like this, and Mudalef, Hakamashon lemato kelamalo. Ma lemalo imishamish klum, af lemato imishamish klum. Telling you, the same way above the airspace is empty. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Why is there nothing there? Because I have over here, it's the air. 20 by 20 by 20. So the bottom one is also nothing there. It's 20 by 20 by 10, nothing there. What do you mean nothing there? There's the Aron and there's the Kruvim. Says the Gemara, beside Rab Levi, Domar Rab Levi B'Yitzchak B'Yechanon, Tavaz and Maseres B'Yadim Yaveseinu, and the Maseres of our fathers, Mokom Aron B'Kruvim Eino Minamido. The place of the Aron and the Kruvim, before I should take away the word Kruvim, is not counted. Meaning, the Aron does not take space. If you measure the empty space of the Kodesh Kodashim, the Aron doesn't catch any space. When you look at the Aron is in the middle of the room. For every side, it's 10 amas. What do you mean? The whole room is 20 amas. You have the Aron itself. So it's not every side 10 amas. The Aron doesn't take space. It doesn't take space. Now, what's Pshat? What's Pshat in this? I probably should discuss it in different ways. What's the Muslim over here? But I heard from the Rebbe Moshe Piers itself. The Pshat is like this. We know that the Lemalo from this world, there's no space and there's no time. Above this world, there's no space, no time. We know that the beginning of this world is the right time. That's a famous Vilna Gaon. We mentioned in the Shurim a lot of times. That the first mimer of Aseres HaMaamaros is Bereshis. Bereshis is when the time started. Above this world, there's no time, and there's no space either. Mokoim is only, the fact that physical space takes a certain space, is only down here in this world, but not above this world. The Aron is the Mokoim of the connection of a Kodesh Baruch Hu to this world. Kiviyachol, the Shechina is Shoyru al Gabi Aron. That's the place where it is. So that place of the Aron is not a place of this world. It's a place that belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's Kiviyachol, an embassy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it's here, same way. What is an embassy? Embassy means you have an embassy of a different country. In this country, belongs to that country, as if this specific building, this specific property, is not in the United States, it's in Israel, for example. And when you have an Israeli embassy. Similarly, over here, when you have the Mokum HaKadosh Baruch Hu, The Aron is Mokam Ashos Shechina. That's the source of Gilul Kodesh Baruch Hu. When that's where you have the Gilul, you have no space. Because in the place Kiv Yochel Kodesh Baruch Hu, there's no cuts of space. So Mokam Aron Enu Min Hamida. What explains? Says the Gemara, Omar Avnayim Mashmuel, Kruvim B'nei Sayuimdim. The Kruvim were standing in a miracle. Shneimar, how do you know the Kruvim in a miracle? So being a great raya, the Kruvim themselves is also a miracle. It says in the Pasuk, V'chamesh amois kanaf akruva achas, V'chamesh amois kanaf akruva shenis, Esa amois v'ktzois akadafa v'ktzois krofov. So it says that there's two Kruvim. And each Kruv has a wing of 5 amos. The two wings together is 10 amos. According to standards, the two Kruvim were standing one next to each other. At least the Knafayim were one next to each other. What's the size of the whole room? 20. So if I have a wing of 5 amos, another wing of 5 amos, another wing of 5 amos, another wing of 5 amos, because you have 2 wings for each Kruv, so you have 20 amos. And the Torah says, the Pasuk says, that you have over here the Knafayim. It says there's 10 amos from one edge to another edge. So one second, I wasn't going to get to that. The more now understands that they're standing, they were, even if they're facing each other, as we'll see soon, but the Knafayim was a straight line. The Knafayim was a straight line. How do you know that the Rashbam, if you look at the Rashbam says over here, if you look at there's a long Rashbam over here, we're going to go into the middle of it. When it says Knaf Akuva Echod, he goes like this. He says, if you look at towards, right, it's where you have the base, let's start with the base of a Goy Sabach in this Rashbam. You see it towards the end of the narrow lines. There's only 20 am. ובסקרובים וכפים 20 לבד הגופים. כתכתיב שתי כפיים היו 10 אמס. וכתיב ויפרסו את כפי הקרובים ותיגו כף האחד בקיר. וכף הכרוב השני נגז בקיר השני וכנפיהם לתוך הבייס נגז כנף על כנף. So that's the pasuk. The pasuk the more understands that the wings are, you have wing, another wing, another wing. It's like a straight line of 4 wings. That's 20 amma. Whoa, 1 second. What about the bodies? The more understood right now that the Knafayim is like a human being, and the Rashbam says. The same way you have a human being, has his body, then he has his 2 hands on the side. So also the Knafayim of the Kruvim, they have the body and the two wings in the side. So says the Gemara, if that's the case, so if you have 20 amma, where do you have a room place for the Kruvim? That's the Gemara asks. The Gemara asks, first white line in the Gemara, where's the bodies? You see the Kruvim itself is also B'nes. Says Abaye, who said that the wings were, the body was between the wings. Maybe it is like chicken. That the chicken, the birds, anybody, if you'll go do kaparis, the knafayim, the wings, come from the middle of the back, and they go up. So maybe that's what it is. It's not that the body is in between. It's coming from the middle of the body. So he says, another question. Maybe they were not exactly one straight line. Maybe they had a little distance between them, right? So maybe that's what it was. Maybe they were not, even if they were in a straight line, but maybe they didn't go in a straight line in the house. The house is 10 by 10. Maybe they were at an angle. So they're able to put 20 in between. Also, maybe when it says 20 by 20, that may be the floor. But the roof of Kodesh Kodashim maybe was larger. Maybe the wings were bent a little bit. It wasn't bent. Here's the different shot in the Rishonim. The Rashbam learns that maybe the Kaifi Adayu, there was like the wings were not a straight line. They were a little bit bent, right? It was a little bit bent. So Rishonim say different ways. Maybe they were bent this way. Maybe the Knafayim, instead of being straight lines, maybe they were bent towards straight, like you put your hands in front of you. Even shati. Another point. Maybe they put their hands one on each other, like a person is putting his hand on each other. That's what Rashbam learns. So in other words, how do you know that they had a straight line of through the Krafayim, and that's what they were? Who said? Okay, so the Gemara brings this as a ha'ara, and the Gemara says no riot from here that the Kruvim were nis. Says the Gemara, Ketzad hayu, how exactly did they stand in Kodesh Kodashim? They're facing each other. They're facing the other direction. So the Gemara, it says they're facing the house. They're facing each other. If not, they're facing the other direction. We find that they do face each other. They're towards the house, but they're tilting toward each other. A little to the house, a little to each other. The Tanyum Kul Sagera Omar Kruvim, it says in the Pasuk Maaset Satsuim Hem. What is Maaset Satsuim? Mitzudodim Preim Ketalmid Nifta Rabbi. Like a Talmud who leaves the Rebbe, he looks at him, but he's looking a little bit the other direction. That's how they were. They weren't mamish facing each other, but a little bit to the side, and that's what it was. And that's what the Gemara brings over here to the Kudus, where the Kruvim face each other and that. First of all, just say, based on what we said before, if the Kafayim were straight, where exactly was that facing each other? Like here in the Gemara, it means the Kafayim like that, and they looked at each other like this. That's what it's supposed to be. The big shayla the Farshim have is the Gemara says over here that according to the first Mandamar, that when the Oyser and Shabaka they're facing each other, and when the non-Oyser and Shabaka they're facing the other direction. The problem is that the Gemara in Yuma Daf Daled says that when the Ummah Soilim went into Beis Kodesh Kodashim in the time of Churban Abayis, they saw the Kruvim Meurim Zebazet. They saw them hugging each other. So as the Rishonim, the Ritter brings the question: what do you mean they're facing each other? They're facing each other. They're in Oyser and Shabaka. They should face the other direction. How does that work according to this Mandala? That's a question the Ritter asks. The Ritva himself says it was a Nes L'Roa. We're not supposed to face each other. It was a Nes L'Roa in order to make Azilus. So Ramon Shapir Zitzal used to bring in the Shir of Tisha B'Av and explain what does it mean Nes L'Roa. Nes is a Gila Kodesh Baruch Hu. What does it mean Nes L'Roa? It means when Kodesh Baruch Hu is hitting us, that's a Nes. That's also a miracle. That shows the Gila Ava of Kodesh Baruch Hu to us. And this famously is brought down that Prichos Mikuritz used to say that it's keneged when a person leaves his wife, goes on a trip, before he goes on a trip. So Livkodis Ishtoi means that's what we're doing. Right before we're leaving comes out the Gilui Avo, and that's so and so forth. We'll speak about more in Shomach Shem and the Daf. This idea that the time of the Churban is a Gilui of Avo. Says the Mishnah, someone has a pit inside, like inner from the house of his friend. And he has, as the Rashbam points out, he got also a pathway to get to the bar. Nichnas b'shor shadech b'yodom nichnosim v'yoytze b'shor shadech b'yodom yoytze. He goes in when it's a normal time to go in and out. You can't come in the middle of 2 o'clock in the morning, say, sorry, I want to go through your property to get to my bar. No, you have normal times. You can't bring an animal to there. You're going to ruin the field. To give the behemoth from the bar. He fills up the water, goes outside, he gives the animal. They both do a lock to go into the bar. Why does the owner of the bar do a patachas? I don't want to come drink from my bar for 1 hour here, so I'm going to lock it up. Why does the owner of the house do also a patachas? He could do. He can't go into the place, right? You know the pesachas. So that we'll see in the Gemara in 1 moment. So the Gemara explains right away. Pesachas leicha. Where these 2 locks go into? Both to the bar. Understand? The owner of the bar wants to guard the water of the bar. Elo balabayis lamali. Why does he do that? Omar Blazor. That's like that was based mishum chashad ishtoi. Because the chashad of the wife. What chashad of the wife? First, you bring over here either pshat, the Shea bring over here either pshat because it's nus. In other words, if he has an ability to go in whenever he wants, so then he may be with the wife alone. But if he has a lock, so if he needs the owner to be there to open for him the door. Or Chashad means that they're going to go and steal. He's not going to be able to do a kinunya with the wife when they're alone. So therefore, Chashad Ishtar is, that's why the guy puts a dock, you can't get into the bar without me being over here. Says the Mishnah, someone has a garden in front of the garden of his friend. He goes in and out whenever it's a normal hours of operation. You can't bring in their merchants to go and do it because he says, I let you go in, I don't let other people come in. He should not go from it to another field. The one in the outside, he's the one who could plan the derech, because the whole derech is only to let you go in. But it's my tzadeh. Not so the derech b'natzad midashtem. If you gave him away in the edge of the property, so that's already giving him a full derech. It's not going in the middle of the field. It's a side. It has a pathway. You can bring in there also merchants. But still, should I use the go derech because he's going to marry Ba'alav Saderech? So, they both can't plant it because it's meant to be a pathway. So, pathway, you can't plant you, the owner of the pathway, and also the owner of the field cannot do it. Says the Gemara, someone says to somebody else, Amo Beis HaShlachim. What's a Beis Amo and Beis HaShlachim? That is the irrigation system to allow the water to go in Beis HaShlachim to be mashke the field. So if you give them a Beis HaShlachim, noisen lo beis amos letoicho ve'amo mikan la'agafeo. What does this mean? So we have two pshatim in the Rishon. The Rashbam brings both. Either the pshat is 2 amos letoicho means that the actual amma has to be 2 amos width. You have to be able to. Why? Even though we usually call it an amma because there's only 1 amma. So yeah, but sometimes when the water doesn't flow well, you need to have the ability to make the pipe a little wider. So you have to have up to 2 amos. The Taisit says over here, the amma is not called based on the width, it's called based on the height. The height is amma, not the width. But the width can be 2 amos. So we're saying that what? You have 2 amos in the width. And in addition, you have to have an amma on each side like a fail. On the banks of this amma, you have to have another amma on each side. That's 2 things. Amma on each side plus 2 ammas in the middle. The other pshat of the Shurim is, that is the 2 ammas. You give him 2 ammas on the 2 sides. Not 2 ammas in the middle. The 2 ammas in the 2 sides. Go to the second pshat, the way you read it. When you read the Mashua, Amma Beis HaShlachim, Beis Amos L'Toicho, Amma Mikan, Amma Mikan L'Agafir. That's the 2 ammas. Amma Beis HaKilo, so Beis HaKilo is more for the laundry. He gives 1 amma inside, and half amma for each side for the banks, or according to the second pshat, amma which is divided half and half to each side. These sides, who plants them? The owner of the field will plant it. The owner of the field can not only plant, he can also plant a tree. Where it says Zorea, of course, Noita. Why? Because Zoreim can ruin it, it makes it moist and it ruins the back, it ruins the side. The banks, the sides, the borders of the amma are breaking down. He needs to put more mud, more earth. You'll fix it from that field. You'll take mud from that field. That in other words, where did this crumble? Where did the walls of the amma crumble into? They crumble into the field. So you take the mud from there. Should say no. Who said that the sides of the amma were crumbled into the field? Maybe it's the water that shoved in the walls. That's part of the condition. That's part of the idea. The idea is that if I'm giving you an amma in the field, the idea is that when you need more earth, you're able to take it from the sadeh. That's basically the agreement that we had to do that. We said Gomer. So we'll stop over here. Be'ez Hashem, our next daf will be on Rosh Hashanah. right before Mincha. And you have the time over there? 5:20 on the first day. Hope to see everybody. In the meantime, Ksiv Chasima Toivo, a good Geben Shtiyar should be a Gavaldik Yor, should be only Dvoim Toivim, only good things, Be'ez Hashem.